Real quick review. Fair value gap. Market rallies up into that in FOMC. Put your shaded rectangle on your chart, extend that out in time. Look at your lower time frames, you'll see the bodies of the candles. We'll look at this in a minute, but I won't have that on the chart. I want to do everything naked. You like it? Naked. So if we look at it on a 15-minute time frame, relative equal highs, that's buy side liquidity. Initial drop down, that's the initial fake move. Then the Judas swing, we're on buy side. Bears bias. There's no reason for us to expect higher prices when they're raising interest rates. Market breaks lower, liquidity and extra, obviously, into the later part of the day. Go right into the 1 minute chart. And let's scrub back here. Okay, buy side here, rallies, fair value gap. I'm waiting until 3 o'clock hour. Last hour of the day, the algorithm will start presenting more opportunities. All of this here is time distortion. Breaks lower, shift in market structure, rallies up, fair value gap, entry, fair value gap, return up into it. So I waited for this, potentially trading up into this, and then I entered. And you can see the executions. And market maker sell model, liquidity, selling 8, pyramiding inside the fair value gap here, right there on that entry, half the initial position, partials below an old low, partials below a new low, and then below the lows here, and finally just to close the trade because I had other things to take care of today. So not bad for a 25K move on S&P. What's your mentor do today? Alright, we're going to do a live trade here this morning. Drawing liquidity was down there. I'll show you in a second right there on the 15-minute time frame. Fair value gap in the form of buy side imbalance, sell side efficiency. And we're looking for lower prices. I'm going to get in a little early this morning. I have things I have to take care of. I'm not going to be able to manage the entire thing. So I have a shift in market structure there. And I'm stuck in the fair value gap right there. And yes, that's Bailey. So the work has already been done with the run on stops at 8:15, and we're just returning back to a short-term premium. Now I'm going to miss the actual ideal entry right there. I missed that because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at Bella and Bailey laying next to me. So I'm in, and I tried to show the executions, but it's not showing. But don't worry, I will show it to you and the whole documentation of it all. But I'm managing it right now blind. At the moment, I don't have a stop. I don't have a limit order in. So I'm literally watching it live. This is not what you should be doing ever when you're trading, but this is the second time that AMP and TradingView didn't meet together technically, and the position tab line that usually shows up when you're in a trade wasn't there. So I can't like grab the take profit and the limit order to adjust it like you normally see me do. So I'm waiting for price to drop down below the sell side liquidity. I want to be out of the trade now because I don't have the optics to see what it is I would normally want to be monitoring with limits and managing my stop. So I'm just going to close it here, even though I pointed to lower prices. And there you go. And here is the actual result with the live account. Okay, so $1,350. Just a bread and butter setup. Nothing exciting. Alright, so here is the aftermath. Okay, so obviously I have a technical issue with TradingView and AMP not syncing together. So the open position tab that would allow me to do the adjustments for take profit, limit orders, and stop loss wasn't available to me. So because of that, it broke my concentration. I just used the low here to bail out of it. Ultimately, you can see the analysis was pretty much spot on. We're probably going to trade down here to the lower end of this. So let's draw that out here for completeness sake. Drew this projection here for a target. I would have been aiming for 38.70, just below that low. I would have not held it for this move here. Let's go into the 1 minute chart. Alright, and here's all the lipstick as it was forming. Shift in market structure, you saw me do that live, real time. Fair value gap, small little gap in here, return back to the larger gap, bump that high, and right below this here is where I covered, and I'll show you the business. Okay, you can see there's my entry, 6 contracts. The exit, I just failed to get below the low of this candle here, so 38.85 and a quarter. I was off by a quarter point, so I couldn't even match that because I was trying just to bail on the trade, and ultimately it went where I wanted to go to, but it's okay. Once my focus is broken in the trade, it's better for me just to collapse it and worry about taking the next trade with precision. I think this is good enough for today, and it's a good learning experience for you as well. So we're going to be doing an afternoon session live trade. This is through an AMP live account, so it's not demo, it's not paper trading. It's a draw on liquidity I'm using. And the afternoon so far is a little sloppy, but we came up, took out the buy side above 39.55, came down, shifted market structure below 39.47.5. Fair value gap, I executed it with the short entry right at the low of the fair value gap. I'm going to look to take 6 contracts off. Bank about $1,500. Stops rolled to better than even. I don't want to play around this afternoon. It's a little sloppy. See, I don't like that. I don't like how it did that. I wanted to take out that low formed just after 2 o'clock. I suspect 39.3650 is going to give out the ghost, but I missed my ideal entry at 39.55.5. Expand this up a little bit and draw this out so you can see the logic. Yeah, there you go. I'm wanting to take off 1 contract below that sell side liquidity and let 1 remain for the 39.36.5 run out, but it's really sloppy, so I took 1 of them off because I don't like where I'm sitting and I don't want to adjust the stop. And the stop's about to get taken. There you go. So not bad for adding another 2,000 almost on the day. There's the shift in market structure. Hope you found it insightful. Good morning, folks. A couple more minutes, we'll have the PPI number in the US. Just want to give you a quick little point to study on. Here is the opening price. There's a small little pool of liquidity right in there. Small inefficiency. You might want to pop up and hit that. And then maybe run for sell side below here. Put the lipstick on this. It's not a trade recommendation. It's just for you to study. I'm not engaging it. I prefer to wait this afternoon to see what develops. Okay, so opening price rallied last night on the session. See if we can get above this area in here. Let's just note it. Highlight it as that right there. Studying to see if we get a reaction there that leads to this later on. Alright, CPI numbers about to release. Sitting here with my son watching. I think we're going to hit the order block, trade up there and then break down, hit the order block and break down. That's initial. Obviously you can go way lower than that. It's about a minute away. Usually when these market moves take place, you are not permitted to enter. All brokers basically go to like standby. You're not going to get a fill. And if you have a stop loss, yeah, good luck with that. So already it looks like it's trying to promote the idea of a high being formed, but that order block level, that's upper left hand corner daily chart, the opening price on that, that's what that red line is. at 41.66. Here comes the fireworks. Okay. Boom. Oh, there you go. That right there, alone right there, would have roasted everyone. And now, your margin called. Thanks for playing.
It certainly looks like it wants to draw down into this order block a little bit more, but if we start to accelerate, I don't think these lows are going to be a factor. Maybe in short order approaching these lows back here. Doesn't look good. It's not doesn't bode well for the bulls, at least for the moment. Let's take a look at the hourly. Okay, you can see how price broke lower, fair value gap, worked in that, touched the higher portion here, and sold off. Small little fair value gap there, broke lower for another run into the low. 15-minute time frame. I know it's sloppy, but I promise I'll get clear in a second. Fair value gap here, breaks lower, afternoon session, 3 o'clock hour, sells off, attacking a low. 5-minute chart, here's your fair value gap here. It trades up into, returns back into it here, and here, and I'm going to show you my 1-minute entry. selling 5, buying 5, execution labels. You can see it here. So that small little fair value gap right there, that's how I was eyeballing that inside of a larger fair value gap after that one. Held it during dead time, attacking the sell side liquidity. And I missed the opportunity here, so I just closed it there. That's going to be it. Hopefully you found this insightful. Until next time, be safe. Alright folks, this is the afternoon trade for the S&P, and it is a shift in market structure at 2 o'clock, and then a return back down into the buy side and balance sell side inefficiency that is highlighted in blue. It's also an optimal trade entry, and a run for potentially 39.50 is what I'm looking for, but there's going to be a partial here. And just going to see if we can get some follow through going into 39.50 level. Give this recording a little bit of time. We'll come back to this. Alright, so there's that buy side and sell side efficiency, see the entry, and I took another partial off. Okay, and we're gonna wait and see if we can get a run above that 39.50 level. I have 2 and 1 still. We'll see if we can get a nice little pop in here with that 39.50 level. Getting to listen to all the ambiance of my kitchen. I should pop in here. And come on, there you go.
Alright, let's do some lunchtime trading. Alright, going short here, knowing that I'm going to most likely get stopped out. There's a fair value gap that I think we're going to do a 3 drives pattern in. There you go. Took a loss right there. And there is the 3rd time back in the fair value gap. I went short there again. I'm going to pyramid this if it gives me all the things I'm looking for. I'm trusting the fair value gap because we have multiple times going in there. If it would have stopped me out again, I would be done for the day. But I wouldn't be doing this aggressively in the lunchtime hour. I'm just showing you that I have no problem showing you a losing trade and recouping it. So adjusting the stop, I have noted a short-term sell-side liquidity pool right here. That's where the first partial is going to be. Now I'm going to add a additional short in here. Okay, so I just pyramided. Now I have 13 contracts. Fair value gap right in here. I'll annotate that, let you see what I'm looking at. So the price should gravitate back down to that low where I have first partial taken, or not taken, but will be taken. Adjusting the stop, reducing the risk. Partial taken. Stop is now better than entry. And I'll be looking to take a partial and opened up the profit objective a little bit more. Looking to take 3 contracts after this fair value gap. Repricing lower, low sell side liquidity. There's a partial there. Stop has been brought down to the fair value gap. It should not go back up into that area. If it does, it's not good. It's a bearish order block. Another partial. Now I just have 1, looking for it to trade down into that limit order or stop me out underneath the sell side liquidity pool. I'm watching to see if it can reject that and snap down and get my limit order. As you can see, the E-mini S&P, new start of a new day here, right there. Ran up into this imbalance between this low and this high. That's a SIBI, trades up into it, bumps the buy side liquidity here. Take a look at that on a 5-minute. Hits it here. Buy side, higher time frame order flow, bearish, rebalance in here, shift in market structure, rallies up, below the low, fair value gap, no fair value gap up in here. Shift in market structure. Right in here. Overshoots it a little bit, but that's fine. Below the low here. And you can see your demo accounts don't put your profit and loss down here.
Alright, so let's take a look at a variation on my son's model. When there isn't a fair value gap, we can use order blocks. You can see the one that's anchored, where it's noted bullish order block. I'm drilling out the two subsequent order blocks after that, and I'm buying with the premise that it's going to reach up into that fair value gap over here. So we'll go in with the live account, 8 contracts. Stop loss within the parameters of the model. Best case scenario, exit. And then look to take 6 contracts off above the 37.25 level I mentioned on Twitter. Very clean level. So don't think that you have to have a fair value gap all the time to take a trade. I have lots of different models and lots of different approaches. Okay, I'll close 6 right there. Stop 2 better than even on the balance of 2 contracts. And I don't like the lethargic price action here. I was wanting to see it run up into that fair value gap, at least hit the low end of it. So I took one of them off again, partial, leaving one with a stop that will not move. It'll stay where it's at. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking if it takes my stop loss here, that this is probably going to be the morning session high, and we'll start working towards that 36.95 sell side liquidity pool. But I'll leave the stop that you guys can see everything. And I know some of you are wondering, is this really paper trading again? He's doing a paper trade right now. But this is a bread and butter setup without the need of a fair value gap. Okay, it's order flows what I'm looking at. Not what you see these young other guys on YouTube saying, say, and live. And that's the stop loss being hit. Alright, so here is what AMP futures does to you. I was dealing with this all night long, multiple trades, and I could have had a huge net day. I was net on the day, but not as high as I would have been if they would have allowed the orders to execute. So as you'll see, there's several attempts for me to close this trade. I built up a position of 10 contracts short, and AMP suggested that I was trying to do more contracts than their limit would allow me, but I've traded more than 10 contracts already, so that's bullshit. So as you'll see, this is not a market replay in NinjaTrader. Okay, this is real money, and the broker will not let me out of the trade. So every time I tried to move the stop loss or take a partial, the stop loss and limit order would disappear. And anytime I would adjust it, it would do that. Not just on this trade, but trades all night long. So you can see the orders are being rejected. I cannot close the trade. It will not let me do it. No matter what I do, it will not do it. simple process. You go up there and you close the position, or buy 8, as you'll see me try to do as it gets close to the low. Every time it keeps rejecting, will not accept the process of closing the trade out. Now, again, last night I traded probably 8 or 9 times throughout the day, and had some really good runs, but when it comes back on you, because you can't get out of the trade, not because I don't know how to trade, obviously. Right here I'm trying to get out. Nope, it won't let me do it. So, the stop loss, that's what they allow me to get out at. That I can't adjust, I can't lower the stop. So, basically, this broker's bullshit, it's trash. And if you were thinking about opening up with them or with them, you know, this is the kind of shit you're going to deal with if you're trying to catch big moves.
Alright, so I'm going to sell short here. Stop above the volume imbalance. And I'll note that in a second. The draw on liquidity is noted at 37.69 3/4. Market structure shift on that swing low there. And there's a bearish order block that I'm going to trade off of as an additional pyramid entry. First partial will be underneath that low noted. Here's my bearish order block, and I'll sell short in there. Boom. Watch the reaction after my entry. Then I'll cover 3 contracts of the 9 I hold below that low. Stop loss is now removed risk. Okay, another partial below that short-term low. Now the draw on liquidity is the focus, and there's a volume imbalance. Watch this precision right there. See that? You don't see that in your textbooks. And watch it just melt away from that. I'm running with a very, very low battery. Just plugged it in, just that way I can get the recording captured. Partial was taken again as we ran under new lows. And the limit order is about to get smoked. Boom. Here's my entries. Clean all this up. So there's that fill on the fair value gap. Bearish ICT order block. First partial below sell side liquidity. Second partial below another sell side liquidity pool. Another partial chasing and running down equity, and the final limit order.